During pregnancy, minerals become the building block for the new life that is living within. Pregnancy is not just the physical creation of life. It is a spiritual and energetic transformation unlike any other creative process out there. The energy of the mother archetype begins to awaken deeply within a woman, and a woman's body becomes a literal vessel for creation, transformation, life, birth, and death, all at the same time. Welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast with me, Rebecca Wilson. If you believe that fertile energy, creative power, and embodied, resourced, nourished women will change the world, then you are in the right place. This is a space to support you to arrive deeper into relationship with yourself and your body, to explore the multifaceted experience of womanhood. It is my mission to guide women back into connection with their natural essence, to become the living embodiment of their true nature. Are you ready to join a community of women who are taking responsibility for our lives, our energy, women who are centered and rooted in ourselves, connected to our womb space, and deeply nourished on a cellular level? If so, let's begin into this week's episode. Welcome to the community, my love. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to the Embodied Woman podcast. Today, we are diving into minerals and the cycles of womanhood. I'm really excited to dive into this episode. It's just something that has such a special place in my heart and in my consciousness, and something that I have been working through with a few clients. So it gave me the inspiration to create this episode and share it with you. First of all, I just want to speak into how miraculous women's bodies are, that we are constantly shifting, evolving, and transforming through so many different seasons and cycles within our lives. From the beginning of puberty to the sacred transition into menopause and beyond, women's bodies are really guided by powerful forces, both seen and unseen. So today, in honor of all that it is to be a woman, we're going to dive deep into these cycles, but not just from that cycle syncing, seasonal awareness perspective, but through a lens of energetics and minerals as well. Minerals are the building blocks of life, so they are at the foundation of our energetic, emotional, nervous system and spiritual resilience. And they absolutely are there as the foundational building blocks as we move through each season and phase of womanhood. So the first place to begin is puberty, which is the awakening of the maiden. So starting at the very beginning, the awakening of the maiden, known as the archetype, but also that maiden energy of puberty. So this becomes, after our birth, of course, the first major transition in a woman's life, a time of blossoming and expansion. The body's beginning to change. But more than that, something deep is stirring on a physiological level. As young girls, when we step into the maiden, or if you're surrounded by any young girls who are traversing through that season right now, there's this surge of vitality and creativity, and of course, a whole host of new emotions. Physiologically, when we are in this season, our hormones are shifting, everything's being set into motion, and the body really craves and needs minerals like magnesium, zinc, and iodine. This is a time of establishing solid foundations, both on that physicality level, but also the energetic and emotional too. It becomes a time for young women to learn how to ground themselves and their emotions, especially as these surges of energy start to move through the body, hormones start to shift, and they're like that first opening of a flower in spring. The inner maiden, the maiden season, carries with it this curiosity of the world around her. But without having that solid foundation of mineral support, this time can become chaotic and lead to imbalances like mood swings, fatigue, and even early stirrings of depression and anxiety. The minerals that we need at this stage to support the body serve not only for the body's growth, but also for that kind of psycho-emotional, energetic aspect of the self. Magnesium helps to calm the nervous system, while zinc supports hormonal balance. And these are shifting at a rapid rate. These changes are happening so fast that it really is important at this season of life that we are giving the body the minerals that it needs to traverse these changes with as much ease, power, and steady ground as possible. So maybe think back to your maiden years. How did you feel physically? Were there moments of overwhelm, excitement? And consider where you might have been in a physical, physiological, energetic, emotional place, and just view back to that part of you that was just really learning how to become an individual and stand in your own energy. And the next season that we move into is the preconception, which is the calling for creation. As women, generally the next season of hormonal shifts and changes that a woman will traverse into is this cycle of preconception. And this is a time where the energy of creator begins to stir within, whether a woman is consciously preparing for motherhood or not. There can often be a deep biological and spiritual shift that happens for women within their 20s and 30s. There's a balancing out of hormones, a calming down, a grounding more and more into the identity of the self. And this is where the body begins to open up to the potential and possibility of growing life, whether that be a conscious choice or for a yes or a conscious choice for a no. Regardless of the choice and outcome of that, the body on a physiological and primitive level is in this season. This is a season where the womb becomes the center and there becomes a more steady grounding into the body. So rather than the mind or the heart being the center of the self, women can tend to sink down and really anchor and center into their womb space. Minerals, of course, play a pivotal role at this season too. Copper is a mineral that supports blood flow, and of course, blood flow to the womb and the pelvis supports the creation of life. But energetically, copper is also the conductor of energy, symbolizing the flow of the feminine, deep power and creativity. The womb space isn't just about reproduction, because we all have conscious choice over that. It's about tapping into creative power. So even when I work with women in this season of their life and they have not decided upon becoming a mother to a child, or maybe they've decided that is not for them, there is such deep wealth and abundance available here when we feel that call to create from our grounded womb power. And that can be in the form of art, life, creativity, music, purpose, vision, anything that is the deep feminine in creation. On an energetic level, the preconception season is about grounding and preparing. So this is where iron becomes important as it nourishes the blood and the life force that will, if decided, potentially carry another being. But it's also a very grounding mineral and a grounding energy connecting us to the earth, preparing for a future. If so chosen, that involves motherhood, which is a deeply grounding initiation to go through. And this is where The vessel for creation opens up to all possibility, but is grounded in her own center and her own power. So whether or not you've consciously prepared for motherhood, or whether you are in the preparation for it, or whether you're not quite in that season yet, or that season was a long time ago, just sink into this feeling of creation in your body. How does it feel to know you have this center of power and creativity inside of you? And how does it feel to anchor in and place yourself grounded and rooted in this space? And then we move on to pregnancy, if that is something that comes into manifest. And this is the alchemical journey. Pregnancy is not just the physical creation of life. It is a spiritual and energetic transformation unlike any other creative process out there. The energy of the mother archetype begins to awaken deeply within a woman. And a woman's body becomes a literal vessel for creation, transformation, life, birth, and death, all at the same time. During pregnancy, minerals become the building block for the new life that is living within. And this is where calcium, magnesium, iron are essential, as well as copper, which helps to activate enzymes and support the development of new tissue and energy systems for the life growing within. On an energetic and spiritual level, copper also represents the flow of energy between mother and child. The creation of a new energetic blueprint is forming. And this is where this mineral really supports that. Pregnancy is a deep initiation into a new sense of embodiment for many, if not all women. The womb is anchored as the center, a place of alchemy, transformation. And this is where minerals, energy, and spirit all come together to create new life. It is, of course, a time of expansion, but not just physically, energetically and emotionally and spiritually too. A woman's aura grows when she's pregnant. She's full of life. Life force radiates from her. Her energy field becomes really far, wide, expansive, and more radiant, as she is now the holder of space for another being. Minerals are really, really essential here for both the mother and the unborn child's development. Without this support, the mother's body can become depleted, and then this leads her to not have the essential minerals that she needs to pour into her creation living within. She can feel often ungrounded and unsupported. And this is a time where she must anchor into ground, steadiness, and support. It becomes a season of life where honoring the body's needs for deep cell nourishment is essential. And remineralizing and pouring in minerals into the body and deep, deep nourishment can provide that to lay a steady foundation for the birthing mother to bring forward life. So whether or not you've experienced pregnancy, just think about a time when you're in a process of creating or birthing something new. How did that creation demand your energy? Did you feel able to create that if you were not nourishing and nurturing your body fully? And how did that journey of creation change your body, your emotions, your connection to yourself, the earth, and to spirit? And the next season we find ourselves in is motherhood, the expansion of the self. Motherhood, whether physical or metaphorical, is a time of deep expansion. It's the period when women step into the full energy of the mother archetype, nurturing, providing, holding space. But it's also a time when many women can become depleted, especially if they are not careful and taking care of themselves. Those high demands of caregiving, whether it be for a child or your creative project, your mission and your purpose, drain energy reserves really quickly. The body is in high demand when it is in a creative cycle and in a birthing process. On a mineral level, we need to be nourishing the body with zinc, magnesium, and potassium to help with any stress response and to calm the nervous system down. This is a season about giving, but it's also a season of receiving too. For many women that traverse this season, it's about learning to nurture others without abandoning themselves. Motherhood teaches many women this delicate balance between sacrifice and self-care, between giving and replenishing. We can often get stuck in the extremes, but a place in the middle is the place to rest as often as you can. Minerals support the mother in staying grounded and connected to her body, even while she gives so much to others. Magnesium here calms her nervous system, allowing her to rest in her own energy. Potassium helps to regulate emotions, preventing burnout, and sodium helps, along with potassium, to calm her adrenals and to ease her from the constant demand of nurturing. The mother archetype asks women to expand beyond their individual self. It's a journey of holding space for others whilst maintaining a strong connection to her own energy. Being mineralized in this season supports a woman to anchor deep during this time of great expansion, whilst also staying rooted and nourished. So think of a time when you've cared for something or someone very deeply, whether a child, a project, a loved one, a pet. How did you find balancing the act between giving and your own need for receiving and nourishment? Was there a healthy, easeful flow between pouring out and pouring in? Or did you find yourself stuck in either extreme? And next we arrive into perimenopause. And this we can call the transition into wisdom. This is the bridge between mother and wise woman. A powerful time of transition and truly a rite of passage. This is where the woman's energy begins to shift inwards. Hormonal changes begin and the body prepares for the next phase. This is often a time where many women experience heightened emotions, energy fluctuations, and shifts in identity. On a mineral level, a woman really needs to be supporting her body with magnesium, calcium, and copper. Magnesium to help regulate mood, nervous system, and energy levels. Calcium to support her bone health. Perimenopause, on a spiritual and energetic level, is about letting go, releasing what no longer serves, and embracing the wisdom that's been cultivated over the decades of her life that she's just walked through. The wise woman archetype is stirring within her at this time, asking her to slow down, to reflect and release. Perimenopause can often be a challenging time for women as their body shifts away from the energy of creation, but it is in its own right a time of renewal. As a woman lets go of the physical demands of the mother, she can begin to open space for deeper spiritual exploration. If you are traversing perimenopause yourself, have you noticed these shifts in your energy and mood? How can you honor this time of transition? And what might you need to release to step into that wise woman that's waiting to emerge? And the next season, menopause, the full embrace of the wise woman. This is a time of deep wisdom awakening, a time of knowing, of standing in power, without any need to prove or produce. The cycles of creation have come full circle. And now her energy is focused inward, on reflection and deepening, on spiritual growth and connection. On a mineral level, a woman's body really enjoys receiving calcium, magnesium, and potassium. But ultimately, menopause is a time of liberation for women. It's a time when the body no longer carries the physical demands of fertility and her spirit can reconnect to the divine. The wise woman archetype teaches all of us, no matter where we are in our inner seasons and cycles, there is beauty and power in every stage of life. And that menopause is not an end, but a beginning. It is the gateway to deeper self-awareness and spiritual expansion. Menopause asks women to own their wisdom and power, to embrace themselves fully, and to share their wise thoughts, knowings, and knowledge with others. The minerals that support a woman in this phase are about grounding her into her body whilst her spirit rises high in connection to the divine. You may not have reached menopause yet, but how do you envision your journey into the wise woman stage if not? And if you have, how has the journey been getting there? What wisdom have you already gathered that you can carry forward with you? So as we come to the end of this journey, I invite you to just take a moment to reflect on this connection between minerals and the cycles of womanhood. How each stage of life, the maiden, the creator, the mother, the wise woman, really calls for different energy, emotion, different levels of nourishment on a physical, energetic, emotional, and spiritual level. Minerals are much more than physical nutrients. They're the building blocks of our bodies and our energy, our emotions, our nervous system, which all create a house and home for our spirit. So by nourishing ourselves deeply through each season and cycle of life, we not only honor our bodies, but we honor the journey of womanhood and all it is to move through these sacred stages of life. My wish for you is to embrace the wisdom of your body, the cycles of your life, and to pour into yourself the nourishment and minerals needed on every single level of this journey, so that you can be a deeply rooted, embodied, resourced, and mineralized woman. To stay nourished, grounded, and deeply connected to yourself, your womb, and your creative force of power within. If you are traversing through a particular season or cycle of your journey through womanhood, and your body is calling for some greater support to be there, to move through it with more ease, more resource and capacity, I welcome you to explore my signature individual mentorship journeys. I have both the Radiant Reclamation for women in all seasons and cycles of life, and I also have Preconception and Remineralization Journey for women who are in that preconception phase, wanting to support their bodies to welcome and grow a life. The links for both are in the show notes of this episode, along with some links to connect with me on Instagram. If this has touched you in any way, please do share with me. I love to hear from you. And if you know this would resonate with a woman in your life, share it with her so that we can all take the full power and responsibility to be embodied, resourced, and radiant. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this episode, please share it far and wide with your sisterhood and community. You can dive deep into all of my offerings via rebecca-wilson.com. Links to all offerings are below in the show notes of this episode. If you would love to support the podcast, please like, subscribe, download, and share the episodes so my work and this message can reach more women around the world. Remember, my love, you are here to live a life fully, deeply inhabiting your body and your divine nature. I am here to show you how. Hey love, I'm just dropping in to share that the doors are open for the waitlist for the next round of Embodied Woman Group Mentorship. This is a journey like no other, a deep dive into embodiment, somatic awareness, self-honoring and healing practices, the journey of remineralization, awakening your feminine energy and restoring the resources within your heart, body, wombs, cells, and overall vitality. This is my signature program, which launches twice a year. There are limited spaces for the intake. If you're feeling the call, head on down to the show notes in this episode, click the link and join the waitlist where you will receive more information soon. Hope you enjoyed the episode of this podcast. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful, vital, and nourishing day.